want to be able to manipulate data, and different data types have different methods associated with them. So in the past video we learned about string data types, and string data types basically just any sequence of characters or text that are surrounded by quotes. And in Python, string data types are highlighted in green. And there are a lot of different methods that are associated with these string data types that you can use to manipulate these strings. Some of the common methods that you will find, you can actually search them on Google if you just type in Python string methods. And if you look here, you will see the documentation for Python, and this is a website that you can go to look at different string methods. We will be covering some of these methods in this video. Okay, so the first thing that we will be learning is how to concatenate two strings together. And concatenation is basically just adding or putting together two strings. In this case, in this example here, I have the variable called first, and I'm setting it equal to the string hello. And I have another variable in the next line called second, and I'm setting it equal to world. In order to actually print these two strings out together, if I wanted to print out hello world all in one line, I would do something like this, right? Print hello world. Since I already have a variable set equal to hello and this another variable set equal to world, what I can do is actually just add them together using the plus symbol. And this way, when you actually run this program, so all you have to do to run this program is go to Run and then click on Run Module. And you'll see Hello World is printed. And notice how there is no space in between. So when you're adding or concatenation, when you're concatenating two strings, they are basically put together without a space. If you do want a space, what you can do is you can have a space right after the O in hello. And now if you run this program, you should get hello world with a space in between. Or you can also do the other way where you have a space before world. And that will also give you the same thing. And another way to do this as well, third way, is instead of just adding first and second, what you can do is you can actually add another space, okay, in between these two variables. So you're adding first, which represents the string hello, and then you're concatenating it with a space string. So this will just print out a space, and you're adding that to second, which is world. So you should see hello, space, and then world. Let's go ahead and run that. And that is exactly what you get. So strings, you will have to know that you can actually add them together using the plus symbol. So it's important to know that strings can be added to other strings. Next, I wanted to go over the len function, which is what you see here. So similar to the print function, where anything that we put inside of the arguments is printed into the Python shell, the len function, all it does is it takes the length of whatever argument you put inside of it. So in this case, let's say I want to find the length of the variable called first. So all I'm doing here, notice I have the len function, and inside of it I have the variable first. So this is basically saying find the length of the string hello, and then print that answer into the Python shell. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we run this. You'll get 5. So notice how hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a total of 5 letters long, and that is how you use the len function to calculate the length of a string. So next I wanted to discuss the lower and upper methods for strings, the lower and upper. And all they do is basically, as you could probably tell by the word lower, all it does is lowers all the letters in your string, and upper capitalizes all of the letters in your string. And in order to use this, all you'd have to do is to type in the variable that contains the string that you want to lower. In this case, it is the first one, so I'll say first, and then you would have to use dot lower. Okay, so methods, you normally use the dot. So whatever you want to lower or use the method for, you would write that variable first and then use the dot followed by the method that you want to use. In this case, it's the lower method. It does not take in any arguments. Okay, so there's nothing that you should be putting inside of here. So let's go ahead and print this and see what happens. We get hello with the H not capitalized, right? Just like how we expected it to be. So next, let's go ahead and see how the upper function works, or upper method. In this case, I can say first dot upper, and we would expect to see hello written all in capital letters. And just like we expected, all of it is in capital letters. Next, I wanted to talk about the replace method for strings. And the replace basically takes a particular part of your string and replaces wherever it sees the X with the Y's. So in this case, let's say I wanted to replace the H, wherever I see an H in my string, with the letter O. In that case, what I would do is print first dot replace, and then what I want to replace would be the first position inside of your argument. So in this case, I want to replace the capital H with capital O. Okay, so we can expect to see O-E-L-L-O. Let's go ahead and check. Let me comment this out. Okay. So just like we expected, replace, it looked for an H or capital H in the entire string and replaces it with an O. Now, if there was another H here at the end of your string, that will also be replaced with an O. So it's important to notice that for you, when you're using the replace method, it will check your entire string, and wherever it sees the H, it doesn't matter how many times it occurs in your string, it will be replaced with an O. So just like we expected, all of the H's were replaced. And the last method that I wanted to go over was the count method. Okay. And all the count method does is it counts whatever you put into the arguments of a variable that you precede it with. So for example, if I wanted to count the number of L's in this string, I would write print and then first dot count and what it is that I want to count inside of the parentheses. In this case, I want to count the number of L's, so I would write L. Okay, and let's go ahead and print it and see what is the output. So it gives me 2 as the output, and just like we have two letter L's, it counted exactly 2 of them.